Welcome to the Orange Coast Unitarian Universalist Church on Zoom. We recognize that our church property rests on Ahachiman and Tanva land. My name is Jan Mabey, and I am your worship associate today. I am joined by Reverend Sian Wiltshire, our minister. Beth Syverson, our director of music ministries, will lead us in song today. We are doing a special collaboration with members of the Orange Coast Choir and members of the First UU Syracuse Choir. Reverend Judy, our Director of Religious Education, is with us this morning, as this is a special multi-generational service. Normally, she holds classes for our children and youth, both before and after the service. Today, we are all together. I would like to invite you to open the chat box, and if you haven't already, say hello this morning. We will be turning the chat off during the sermon portions of the service so as not to distract you, but we'll turn it on right afterwards or as needed during the service. As Unitarian Universalists, we have many different beliefs, but we are one loving community. We are bound together, not by a common set of rules or beliefs, but rather a covenant. A covenant is simply a promise that whatever our beliefs, we accept one another and encourage each other in spiritual growth. We affirm that all life has inherent value and that all existence is interconnected. We strive for justice and compassion in our deeds and relationships, and we are committed to creating a welcoming community without regard to the trades that sometimes divide people. I want to extend a special welcome to visitors. If you are seeking a spiritual home, we hope that you will find it here. After the service, Tom Lockery will present a kickoff for the fall auction. Then we will place everyone that remains into Zoom breakout rooms for 20 minutes of virtual coffee and conversation. Everyone is welcome to join in, and it's a great way to get to know people in the congregation. Let us light our chalice, the symbol of the Unitarian Universalist tradition. If you have one at home, we can light them together. Let our worship begin with the lighting of our chalice as we say our unison affirmation. We encourage you to say our unison affirmation even in the privacy of your own home, knowing that people all over the country and beyond are saying it with you. Please join me now as we begin. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. This we affirm together.
Please join me on this beautiful round. We usually sing this every water ceremony.
Wash me away so that all that's left is love. Great Spirit, wash me away so that all that's left is love. Great Spirit, wash me away. In the ocean that's left, waves are coming in, waves are coming in. There is so much magnificence in the ocean that's left, waves are coming in, waves are coming in. There is so much magnificence
my people. It's so fabulous to be here with you again after a 2-month hiatus. For those of you who knew, I've been out on a wonderful 2-month sabbatical. I'm very grateful for all of my time off, and I'm coming back with energy, with love, and hope enough for all of us. It's gonna be a good year. And you know, I've been scrolling through when we're singing, and when I look out at all of you, it's like I fall in love all over again. I have missed you. It's really good to see you all. It's gonna be even better when I get to hug you all again, but it's really good to see you. It's been a really rough year so far, and so much has changed. And today, as part of that change, we're celebrating our annual ingathering with a water ceremony a bit differently, right? So like a lot of things this year, whether it's birthdays or anniversaries or graduations, things are going differently. But it also gives us this great opportunity to explore, to experiment, to renew. If you looked at your email yesterday, I invited you to bring a glass of water to today's service. So if you haven't gotten one, something like this is one actually a friend of mine gave me. It's got little dogs on it. It's a wine glass. If you haven't got one yet, and you'd like to participate in the water ceremony, I'd like to invite you to go grab one during the service at some point. So unlike our traditional service, it needs to be drinking water, by the way. One person was like, oh, I'm gonna go get some pool water. No, we're gonna have drinking water this time. So for those of you who are new, traditionally, we've each brought water from various parts of our summers or winters or wherever we've been, water that means something to us, symbolic or otherwise, and we've poured them with our hopes and our dreams into a common bowl. And then that water is used for blessings throughout the year. This year, given our social distancing, I invite us to imagine that we ourselves are the water. We are the rivers flowing together, coming together this morning into a vast ocean. Some of us come as rivers moving slowly, ponderously over the land, renewing the soil as we go. And others of us are like wild and raging rapids, building canyons and swirling eddies. And others of us are like sparkling, dancing streams, allowing others to drink from their joy. But each of us arrive here full of spirit, full of grace to offer one another. And when we come together, we're an ocean of love offering healing in body and soul. When we come together, we are a beloved community. Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the river, by the river, I feel whole.
Doom ticka doom doom doom. Doom ticka doom doom doom. Doom ticka doom doom doom. Doom doom ticka doom doom doom.
The river is a healer. The river is a sage. The river knows no end, and the river feels no age. The river is a leader every single day. It's living in the moment, and it always finds a way.
Water heal my body. Water heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole.
The river calls me over. It's calling out my name. In the day and in the night, I hear that river all the same.
It's calling me over, calling out my pain. Oh, river gathers tears like a river gathers rain.
Water heal my body. Water heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel
traveler, always on the go.
A river never worries
If it's fast or if it's slow.
River, take me to where I need to go. Wherever I will just relax and let the river flow.
Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole. Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole. Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole. Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole.
When I go down to the water,
By the water I feel whole.
Our story this morning is Swimmy by Leo Leone. A happy school of little fish lived in a corner of the ocean somewhere. They were all red. Only one of them was as black as a mussel shell. He swam faster than his brothers and sisters, and his name was Swimmy. One bad day, a tuna fish, swift and fierce and very hungry, came darting through the waves and in one gulp swallowed all the little red fish. Only Swimmy escaped. He swam away in the deep, wet world. He was scared and lonely and very sad. But the sea was full of wonderful creatures. And as he swam from marvel to marvel, Swimmy became happy again. He saw a Medusa made of rainbow jelly, a lobster who walked about like a water-moving machine, a strange fish pulled by an invisible thread, a forest of seaweed growing from sugar candy rocks, and an eel whose tail was almost too far away to remember, and sea anemones who looked like pink palm trees swaying in the wind. Then, hidden in the dark shade of rocks and weeds, he saw a school of little fish just like his own. "Let's go swim and play and see things," he said happily. "We can't," said the little red fish. "The big fish will eat us all." "But you can't just lie there," said Swimmy. "We must think of something." So Swimmy thought and thought and thought. And then suddenly he said, "I have it. We're going to swim all together like the biggest fish in the sea." And he taught them how to swim close together, each in their own place. And when they had learned to swim like one giant fish, he said, "I'll be the eye." And so they swam in the cool morning water and in the midday sun, and they chased the big fish away. So our water ceremony teaches us that we are all connected, like many streams that flow into one river and ultimately into the sea where Swimmy and his friends live. We're going to play with this idea by trying to feel connected through pretending to be water, but not just any water, a rainstorm. Maybe our storm will quench the fires and clean the smoke from the air and let us breathe again. Let's try it. This is a follow the leader activity. So as you watch the amazing video that the Religious Education Committee and their families contributed to, and that Steve Morihiro produced, I want you to imitate the motions that you see on your screen and do them in either sequence, or you can stick to one motion throughout. Turn up the volume on your computer before we begin, and let's raise a ruckus.
I had no idea that we could actually make sounds like that, all of us together. I think that's so cool. I tell you, creativity abounds in this denomination, in this church, because, you know, we don't have this one belief system, right? So we can build our own rituals. We can even make our own rainstorm. How cool is that? Now, I don't know about you. Have you ever wondered, like, where this water ceremony started? I knew vaguely, like, that it was started by two women, like, long ago, but I didn't really know it. And traditionally, every year as part of our ingathering, when everyone comes back from summer vacations and school starts up, we celebrate the gathering of the church together with this water ceremony. People bring water, symbolic or otherwise, to speak about where it came from and what that water means to them. Now, over the years, in a lot of congregations, we've changed that a lot here, but in a lot of congregations, this became a little bit sort of like bragging rights, a little bit, right? Like a little travel log. Like, here's water I got in France, or, you know, here's from my 10-day hike into the mountains, you know, that type of thing. But that's not how it started. It started out as a powerful ritual to bring much needed strength during a very difficult time. It was begun by two laywomen, not ministers, in 1980. It was Carolyn McDade and Lucille Shuck. They were designing a ritual for a conference on women and religion. Now, back in 1980, for those of us who remember what it was like back in 1980, you know that there was a lot of sexism in the world. There's still a lot today, but there was even more back then. And the conference was about systemic sexism that existed within our own Unitarian Universalist Association, religion in general, and in the wider world. And they were coming together to figure out what they could do about it. And they knew that they needed one another, that it would be a long battle to change a culture. They would need strength, they would need resilience, and most of all, they would need love and compassion. And they chose water as their symbol. It's an eternal symbol of enduring strength, of depth, of deep compassion, of spirituality. Their theme was coming home like rivers to the sea. As these women gathered from all over the world, 8 of the women from the furthest reaches were asked to bring water and speak about what that water meant to them. One woman spoke about how the water symbolizes the sustenance and replenishing of those qualities I find good in myself. Another said that the river is a symbol of the lasting power of life. The physical part of me may die, but like the river, my spirit will live on. And another said, for me, the gathering of water is a symbol of the essence of meaning of gathering. It is a tapping into the collective groundwater that flows through us all. You know, this year, we're facing some pretty big challenges as they faced back then, and we're not done yet. We faced a global pandemic upending our lives, our routines. We've had to rearrange weddings and funerals and graduations and schools and workplaces and homes and everything. And then Black lives and Indigenous lives and other oppressed peoples have been finally thrust into the forefront of the news as we as a nation wrestle with the history of slavery and genocide and racism, and that anger and frustration is being finally, hopefully, heard. And then it's as if the earth itself is crying out in pain, with wildfires raging out of control and storms that are hitting record highs and their devastation. These being the results of our reckless materialism now upon us. And on top of all of that, we have a very serious election coming up here in a couple of months. And boy, it can feel like it's so much. So take a deep breath, because you're not alone. You may think of yourself as just a tiny drop, a trickling stream, but really you are a river. And when we stick together, we're a mighty ocean. You know, water teaches us so many things. This is why they chose it as a symbol. It teaches us about persistence. It is water in all its forms, whether it's rivers or oceans or streams or rain, that slowly wears down the rocks and builds new landscapes, new ways of being. It teaches us flexibility, because water will flow where it will, but it bends when it needs to. And it teaches us about love, because it nourishes all life on this planet. We're made up of what, like 90% water? We're made up of love. And it teaches us that we're stronger together. The more raindrops, the more rivers, the more streams, we become that mighty ocean. We here in this church are a sea, an ocean even, whenever we come together, whenever we love and support one another. And we do need one another to battle depression and mental health issues due to isolation, to battle racism and all of the oppressions, and even to battle the fear and anxiety of wildfires. We need one another. You know, I'm a huge fan of Howard Thurman, this wonderful visionary preacher who started one of the first integrated churches back in San Francisco back in the 1940s. He was this amazing theologian, and he had this vision about the liberal church. He said, "It is my conviction and determination that the church will be a resource for activists. To me, it was important that individuals who were in the thick of the struggle for social change would be able to find renewal and fresh courage in the spiritual resources of the church." Amen, Howard. And now I love Howard, and I want that too. But I envision a church that's not just for activists, but it's for all of us who feel overwhelmed with life, with everything that's going on, who worry about our families, our work, our homes, our bodies, our relationships, and all those who weep and work for change in the world and all of its troubles. We all need fresh courage these days. We all need spiritual sustenance. So, when you need renewal, come here on Sunday morning. That's what I promise you during this year. That's what I realized I needed from this sabbatical, right? I needed renewal, I need sustenance. And that's what I want to give you. We will be a feast for your soul, a feast of music, a feast of vision, and a feast of inspiration. And we're going to do it together. Because love, vision, hope, joy, laughter, that's what this world needs. It needs to spread like wildfire, not to, use a pun there or anything like that or a bad metaphor, but we need it to be contagious, more contagious than COVID. You know what I mean, right? About how joy can be contagious? If you don't believe me, I want you to watch this video, and I dare you not to laugh. Okay, I think I saw some people at least chuckling in there. It makes me laugh, even if it's coming from Coca-Cola. Laughter is contagious. And that's how we're going to get through the year of pandemic and upheaval. With love, with smiles, with laughter, and with inspiration. Because, I mean, it's true, right? I mean, when someone smiles at you, don't you smile back? Or when someone says, "I love you," you say, "I love you too." Spread the love. My invitation is for you to spread love, kindness, hope, and inspiration wherever you go. Don't ignore fear and anxiety, but don't feed it either. The more joy, love, laughter, and hope you can put out into the world, the more it's going to enter your own life. There's a lot to be anxious and afraid of right now, if we let it, but we have a choice. It's like swimming in our story, right? We can choose to come together, to be with one another and chase away those fears. Together we have courage to face the challenges of this world. Together we know that we're not alone. You know, it's so easy to isolate, to want to hide from it all. It's harder to reach out, even when we know it's good for us. If you don't know where to begin to reach out here at this church, begin with me. I'll get you connected. I want everyone to know that you are loved, that you are beloved children of God. And I'll be danged if I'm going to let any of you feel left out, okay? You're my people, my beloved community. I hope you know how much I love you and how much you are loved by a love that's greater than all of us. I invite you also to be a vessel for that love, to be inspiration, to let go of sending fear out into the world and send out love to the world. Tell each other how much you care about one another. Do you know how many emails I've gotten saying, I've missed you? I love it. Send more. Send it to each other. We need to hear that we're loved. Because we got this, my people. We've got this. We can get through this together. We've got all that we need right here. We are a vast, wide, deep ocean being fed by all the rivers of you and your love. So let's begin our wonderful water ceremony. Let's begin with a video of some of us renewing and nourishing our souls with water, the beauty of it, the joy of it, the love of it. So, welcome to our water ceremony. Remember that glass of water that I asked you? I invite you to hold it up now or go get one. Or you can also simply imagine one in your mind's eye. Right on, I see all these wonderful glasses. Excellent. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes or soften them, holding the water in front of you. Take a few deep breaths. Center your mind and your body. I invite you to remember all that joy you just watched in the videos today, the music, the laughter, the beauty, the renewal. I invite you to remember all the ways that this church nourishes us and nourishes the world. The love, the joy, the hope that we spread. And I invite you to remember the strength of rivers, its flexibility, its resilience, its nourishing waters. And now imagine all the love, all the hope, all the joy, all the strength, all the courage poured into every water communion in every Unitarian Universalist church in the last 40 years. Imagine the strength of those women who worked for and created change in this world, and know that you are part of this legacy, that your river is part of this vast ocean. As you hold all of this right now in your hands, I invite you to slowly and mindfully drink this water that you hold. Imagine all the strength, this courage, this love, this inspiration, joy, hope pour into you. This is the spirit of love, the spirit of our beloved community. It's sustaining you, renewing you. Drink down the water, feel the smooth, cool water going down your throat. And know this, whenever you feel down, whenever you're feeling frustrated or discouraged, you can draw upon this strength simply by slowly drinking water and remembering that you are a mighty river and part of a great ocean of water that loves you. And together, we got this. Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water, I feel whole. May you always know that you are loved. Amen.
I encourage you all to sing the song with me. The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. The task is mighty, and so are we. The task is mighty, and so are we. The task is mighty, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. The storm is raging, and so are we. The storm is raging, and so are we. The storm is raging, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be.
Unitarian Universalist congregations are fully self-supporting, meaning that members and friends raise all funds for the operating budget, ministries, and programs of the church. We are ever grateful for the gifts of your time, treasure, and talent. OCUUC amplifies that spirit of generosity by sharing one half of the plate we receive with an organization that shares our values. This month, we are supporting Stand Up for Kids, whose mission is to end the cycle of youth homelessness. They do this every day in cities across America, one youth at a time. Their volunteers and staff are there to empower homeless and at-risk youth toward lifelong personal growth, and to create in those youth a sincere belief in themselves through open, straightforward counseling, mentoring, and life skills training. You can find out more about Stand Up for Kids through their website at standupforkids.org. There are now 3 ways in which you can give online. The first is through our website, www.ocuuc.org. The second is through an app called Give. You can download it on the App Store for your smartphone, and once set up, you can use it for any of your online giving, including your pledge. The third method is by texting 714-942-1131. Simply text to that number, and in the message, type the amount. As always, thank you for your generosity as the offering is given and received.
Drip, 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 drip. Drip, 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 drip. Water wears away the stone. Now because it is stronger, but because it persists. Drip, 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 drip. Drip, 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 drip. Water wears away the stone. best way out is always in. The best way out is drip, 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 drip.
Please join in singing We Gather Together, a song that puts our intentions into words and expresses our gratitude for the many gifts we share.
Gather together, we gather as one, for peace, love, and justice for everyone. We give from our hearts to show that we can change lives with what we share.
Good morning. Now it's a time when we honor important events in our lives, our own personal lives, and you are invited, one and all, whether you are a member, a friend, or visitor, to participate in this ritual called Joys and Sorrows. In order to begin, just invite you to take a deep breath. As you start to become a little bit present here, you may become more aware of those moments in the last days or weeks or hours that you bring here with you that may have struck you at your core. If you'd like to honor such a profound joy or sorrow, you're invited to do so. You can light a candle like I have here, if you have one in your own home, or you can use this one as a symbol for yours. If you'd like to share it with the congregation, you're invited to write it in the chat. So let's take a moment while Beth plays, and then I will read those joys and sorrows out loud for those who are unable to access the chat. So we've had a lot of birthdays going on, it looks like. Bob Melville wants to thank everyone for all the cards and wishes for his 93rd birthday. Dude, we're going for triple digits. And Sandy Martin, she had a birthday on Friday. Happy birthday, Sandy. And Joel Kilshore, another amazing birthday at 18. His father says he's now officially an adult. You can vote. Yes. Good. I hope you will. And Karen County expresses her joy that I'm back and is nicely refreshed. Thank you. I'm happy too. So Ava, Lou, and Cosme, they sent this to me as well earlier. They have a sorrow that their 95-year-old mother, this is Cosme's mother, died this week, a day before the anniversary of the other 9/11, the day the United States terrorist act against the country Chile, the cost of lives of thousands. I understand she was an amazing woman and fought to find her son when he was imprisoned. What a wonderful woman, and I'm sorry for your loss. It sounds like she lived a very rich life. Sarah Hunter notices that kindness is like water. Everyone needs it, and kindness makes everything better. It's so true. Barbara and Steve Morihiro light a bright candle of joy. Their older son, David, and his new bride, Heidi, got married yesterday in a lovely, intimate outdoor wedding overlooking the ocean. We're thrilled to welcome Heidi into our family. Gabrielle offers up a concern for her uncle and cousins and friends living in the Portland area. Yeah, it's really tough there. So Mark Renshaw says the lifetime warranty on his knee has expired, so he has to get replacement part. He'll be doing surgery on Thursday and be grounded for a few months. The silver lining to COVID is that I won't miss out on much. And we will send you all the healing thoughts that you would like, Mark. And Elise James, it's a big joy today for her sister who graduated yesterday with a master's in science and nursing education. They're so proud, that's awesome. And Reverend Judy says she's grateful for all our church volunteers. Your dedication moves and heartens me. Amen, sister. I can't believe I was so impressed with everything when I came back and saw everything moving forward. I'm just thrilled. So Meg Wilson has a joy. She said, we celebrated my daughter Mika's birthday on 9/11 with birthday wishes coming from all over the world. And she also wishes Sandy a happy birthday. Sarah Jones says she has a joy on September 17th as her granddaughter Jordan's second birthday, as well as their grandson Gabriel's first birthday. Brother and sister share the same special day. How cool is that? Kate Kosman has lit a candle of concern for her daughter who lives in the Bay Area and has asthma. Ooh, oh, it's so hard there. And Clover and Paul said they want to thank everyone for their healing thoughts and love as she recuperates from a fractured rib due to a fall earlier a week ago. Ken Arnold mentions he's so sad for the fire damage to his son and grandchildren's community of Rogue Valley, Oregon. Oh, I'm glad their home survived, inspired by how many people are helping each other, right? People come together. That's what's so wonderful. That's the silver lining. And Peggy has a deep sorrow for the loss of life and health for humans, plants, and animals from the wildfires. May we learn. Yes, may we learn. And Jolynn has lit a candle of strength for Kevin, her brother, who we all know. He was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. She says, we know that you will help with all your positive energy. And as we know, you help Mom with her surgeries. Yeah, we'll send that out. And Justin, we've been blessed with a new home. We received keys on Thursday. Wow, a lot happened when I was gone. Awesome, Justin, that's wonderful. And Bonnie says, my daughter Brenda also had a 9/11 birthday. I cherish her every day along with my son and their families. Oh, that's wonderful. And I hear she's doing better. That's wonderful. Oh, Mark Renshaw, so it's Kathleen having knee surgery, not Mark. Terribly sorry, I got that wrong. And happy birthday to Nancy Lockery for her upcoming birthday this Thursday. Oh, everyone. Wow, all of that going on in people's lives. So much joy and sorrow, celebrations. Let's hold all of that joy and celebrations, all of the hurts and the sadness, whether it's been spoken or it's silent. Let all these joys remind us to be thankful. Our concerns remind us to hope, and our sorrows remind us to connect. Let all these moments remind us that we are not alone. I invite you now to join me in a spirit of prayer. This prayer was adapted from a blessing that was written for the very first water ceremony by Pat Simon. Water, deep source, embracing the earth, rushing and confronting, transform us. Water, dear source, cradling haven, crystalline beauty, bring rain to this parched land now on fire. Water, sweet source, linked the eons, stirring our memories, help us to grow. Let our roots grow deep. Water, warm cauldron of the revolution for love of life, bring about a sea of change. And water, sweet message of hope, nourish our spirit and bless us this day. Amen.
Let us join together as we extinguish the flame of our chalice and say, we extinguish our chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. We are a congregation made up of people who all believe differently, and yet when we gather together, virtually or otherwise, we make up one loving community. We need not think alike to love alike. If you are a guest, a visitor, or someone who hasn't yet been known to us, I invite you to become a part of this beloved community, even if just for today. We encourage you to write in the chat your name and where you are from. If you'd like to know more about our church, please see our church website for ways you can get involved and sign up for our weekly email called The Blast at blast@ocuuc.org. If you would like to know more about membership, please contact us at membership@ocuuc.org. If you would be interested in religious education for our children and youth, please contact Reverend Judy at revjudy@ocuuc.org. Our community is enriched by its visitors, guests, and friends, and we hope that they find a spiritual home here. If anyone has a question about Unitarian Universalism or how to get involved, please contact Reverend Sean at minister@ocuuc.org. She can assist you in connecting to the congregation. We want everyone to feel a part of this beloved community, so please reach out and we will help you get connected. Reverend Sean has a few announcements.
All right, so one of the things that I'm loving is just how much is going on in the church, and it's still going on even with the pandemic going on. We've got actually a drive-through flu clinic. Right? Every fall, right, we would do these flu shots. And so we're actually gonna have a drive-through clinic. You'll see more about that in our blast. It's free flu shots, and we need them more than ever right now. So please come out and do that. And then we've also got our Environmental Film Festival coming up on October 17th. In the meantime, there's all sorts of amazing things going on with our LGBTQ Action Group and Nonfiction Book Club. But today, after the service, after we sing our benediction, you're gonna hear from Tom Lockery about the Pandemic Pandemonium Auction. I have no idea what that is about. I haven't had a chance to talk to anybody, but I tell you, I am excited about it. So just that name alone is exciting. So stick around after we sing, and Tom will come on and tell you a little bit about what is going on. All right. So one of the things that I want to do is, like we are rivers coming together in ocean, let's link our hands virtually across the screen. There we go. Remembering that we're flowing together. Water, heal our bodies. Water, heal our souls. When we go down to the water, by the water we feel whole. Let us sing our benediction.
Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me. Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me.
Good. Okay. So pandemic pandemonium. There's always a danger in promoting something and then under delivering. But we decided to go with the theme anyway. We missed our spring auction. I missed it. I'm sure many of you did as well, and all the activities that usually follow our auctions. And we actually, in our planning for the budget, decided, well, how are we going to possibly do an auction? So we really didn't include an auction in our budget. But we began thinking about it as we've gone through this and hearing from people about how much they've missed the auction events during the spring and summer, that we decided, well, there is something we can do. There's lots of other UU congregations and other churches and organizations around the country conducting their auctions and having fun doing it and raising money for their churches as well. So we decided If they can do it, we can do it too. And so we have created the Pandemic Pandemonium OCUUC Fall 2020 auction. It's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be unlike anything we've had before. It's going to be completely online. You won't have to go anywhere. You won't have to do anything more than turn on your computer when everything starts. It's certainly going to be socially distanced. It's going to be an all new, completely online experience. We've not had even tried before. So this is, to some extent, a little bit of an experiment. It's going to focus on things more than events this time. So maybe you make a super duper chocolate cake. You could make a chocolate cake that would knock anybody's eyes out and deliver it to their house and ring the doorbell and leave it on their front doorstep and back off and let them pick it up, and they're going to have chocolate cake to enjoy. Or it could be that you've got that extra laptop computer that really works well. It's in great condition, but you just don't need another computer around the house. So you've decided you'd make your computer available to somebody. Somebody else might like it. They've been doing everything on their phone and they'd like to have a computer to work with. It could be any number of things. And we're busy on the auction committee now putting together a list of all the different kinds of things that you could be offering. The bidding is actually going to occur over a 2-week period rather than one evening. It'll be over 2 weeks, and you'll have an opportunity to take a look at the list and bid on things that you like, and you'll get a notification with the software that we're going to use as to whether you had been outbid on something. So you can go back and outbid somebody else and make a good attempt to try and get the items that you want. So that bidding is going to occur a little bit later. It's going to occur in November, and I'll tell you more about the schedule here in a moment. Here's an example of what the auction bid page looks like. And this is actually from a UU church back east that had it. And you can see that somebody did a nice painting. Somebody else is planting bougainvillea. Somebody else has a whole bunch of their fall vegetables to offer. Somebody's doing a design consultation, private lessons, and you might guess that this came from the Nantucket Church because they've got a Nantucket real estate experience. So, and there are many, many more items. We're hoping to have several hundred items that you can bid on. And of course, that is, go to the next slide. That's the key to all of this. So right now, what you need to be doing is start thinking about the items you wish you could have, or things that you might want to auction off, services or items that you have around the house. You can submit your items to auction@ocuuc.org. You need to provide a good description and include a photo along with your minimum bid. And then start looking at what's being offered. The bidding doesn't actually start until November 7th, and it's going to go for 2 weeks. So the 7th through the 14th. Excuse me. It's actually the 21st. That's a typo. 7th through the 21st. So as you bid, if you get outbid, you'll be notified and you can bid again. There's going to be a lot more information coming out in the coming weeks with Blast and Reach as we go into this, and there'll probably be some special mailings as well to tell you everything that's going on. But what we really need you to do is to think about the kinds of things you can offer and that you can do. And with that, we start a great auction. We can have a lot of fun with it and a good time. So follow the Blast and the Reach for the details. Contact us at auction@ocuuc.org with any questions. And as we are reminded every week, stay safe and be well. You're going to get more information this week in the Blast. You'll have a link to the actual auction page where you can enroll yourself and start to offer items for bidding. And later on, you'll be able to actually do the bidding when we open that up. So it should be fun, and we encourage you to participate in this. I'll offer one thing that we've decided on the committee. We do not and will not be accepting any offers that involve people physically getting together in groups. So no backyard parties, no dinner parties in your house, no hikes in the woods with others. So this is going to be totally online. You'll be able to deliver things to people. You'll be able to get things from people, but we're not going to physically get together. I'm hoping that maybe by November, things will loosen up a little, but we can't plan on that. And so we're not going to plan on it. We're planning on having it strictly online. So thank you all. Look forward to seeing your participation in it. And back to our host.